Last September, I released this video revealing my monthly passive income. It was my highest of the year and amounted to £2,935 in dividend payments. However, that's not the full picture. Dividends only tell you a small part of the story. In fact, when I looked at the total return from last year, September was actually a complete disaster. I may have received nearly £3,000 in dividend payments, but the stock market performed very poorly that month and the value of my portfolio fell by a whopping £5,461, giving me an overall loss for the month of £2,526. Yes, despite those enormous dividends, I made a huge loss that month. When I recently discovered this chilling fact, I was shocked to the core, and I felt I had to find out what on earth was going on with my portfolio. So have my dividends been lying to me all this time? Am I throwing my money down the drain, and is dividend investing a complete waste of time? Let's revisit the whole of 2024 and see exactly what happened month by month. This is not financial advice, and I'm just showing you my own journey. Investing carries risks, as you are about to see. In the January of 2024, I received dividends from 4 companies. The smallest was £61 from Tate & Lyle and the largest was £276 from National Grid, giving me a total for the month of £575. The price of my shares fell slightly and I lost £39 in capital, giving me a total return of £536 for the month. I'll keep a running total in the box on the right, so we can track the progress as we go through the year. In February, I received dividends from 3 companies. United Utilities paid out the smallest of £125, and British American Tobacco the largest with £219, giving me a total of £529 for the month. However, share prices in February were rocketing and my portfolio showed a capital gain that month of a staggering £7,939, giving me a total return for the month of almost £8,500. That's a total of £9,000 for the first 2 months of the year. You'll perhaps get the picture now that dividends can sometimes be rather insignificant in the grand scheme of things when we take total return into account. If you are finding this video useful, then please hit the like button as it really helps out the channel. On into March now, which tends to be a very good month for dividends with 12 companies paying out. These payments range from the smallest of £46 from the Renewables Infrastructure Group to the largest of £371 from AstraZeneca. This gave me a total of £2,193 for the month. But the stock market seemed to be going ballistic and the capital grew that month by over £19,000, giving me a total return for February of £21,600 or a £30,000 gain for the quarter. On to April with 5 companies paying out. The smallest payment was £170 from GSK and the largest was £422 from HSBC. Total dividends came to £1,627 and the market continued to fly upwards with a capital growth of £9,000, taking the total monthly return to £10,700 and the 4-month gain to £41,000. Into May and 7 companies paid out. The smallest was the London Stock Exchange Group with £35 and the largest was Lloyds with £325. The total dividend payment was £1,262 and there was some decent capital growth, making the total return for the month £4,500 and the year-to-date return had now climbed to over £45,000. On to the middle of the month now and 12 companies paid out in June. The smallest was VWRL with £25 and the largest was HSBC with a big payment of £425. The total return for the month was £2,686, but the stock market took a turn for the worse and I suffered a capital loss of £3,069, giving me my first overall monthly loss of £383. So despite the nice dividends, my portfolio made an overall loss for that month. The price of shares can go down as well as up. My half-year return on investment was £45,481. July is usually a fairly quiet month for dividends and only 4 companies paid out. The smallest was from Persimmon at £15 and the largest was a huge £649 from National Grid. The total for the month was £861, and after stopping for a bit of a nap the previous month, the market seemed to be all guns blazing again with a capital growth of 13,700, giving a total return for the month of £14,603, and the gain for the year surpassed £60,000. Don't forget to tap that subscribe button to be notified of future videos. In August, 4 companies paid out. The smallest was Tate & Lyle with £126 and the largest was £251 from United Utilities, giving a total dividend haul of £784 for the month. Not only did I receive some dividends, but the share prices were increasing too, with a capital gain of £7,107, giving a total return of £7,891. The return for the year was now almost £68,000, but could this run last? In September, a staggering 18 companies paid out. This is usually my best month for dividends. The smallest was £18 from the London Stock Exchange Group and the largest was £334 from BP. The total dividends for September was £2,935, but the stock market took a big hit. Share prices fell and my capital suffered a big drop of £5,461 for the month, giving me my second monthly loss of the year. This time it was more than £2,500 despite those big dividends. My overall gain for the year was down to 65k. Would October be any better? 5 companies paid out dividends in this month. The lowest was £84 from Croda and the largest was £437 from Diageo. The total was £1,034, but the stock market was turning into a rather scary place now, and my capital plunged £5,693, giving me my third monthly loss of the year, but this time it was £4,659. Yes, over a 2-month period I was down a whopping 10 grand. The stock market really can be a roller coaster at times and you have to hold your nerve. But I was still up £60,000 on the year and only 2 months to go. November is another quiet month for dividends with only 4 companies paying out. The smallest was £8 from Persimmon and the largest £224 from British American Tobacco. The total was £557 and it looked like the stock market dip was over as the capital was up £8,000 this month, giving a monthly return of £8,684, catapulting my yearly gain to £69,000. And finally we reached December and another great month for dividends with 11 holdings paying out. The smallest was £31 from my 2 ETFs and the largest was from BP with £362. This gave me a total of £1,990, but there was definitely no Santa rally this December. His sleigh was stuck in reverse and share prices fell and I suffered a capital loss of £4,732, giving me a loss of £2,742 for the month. The return for the full year was £66,732. And now for the summary table. At the start of 2024, the portfolio stood at £415,000. At the end of the year, it was £512,000. Almost 30k of new money went in, so the net gain was £66,732, which is 16% for the year. This table shows how important the dividends were to the overall gain. Capital growth contributed to nearly £50,000, with dividends contributing to £17,000 of the total return. In percentage terms, dividends made up 26% of the overall gains, and capital growth made up 74%. Not all years will be the same as this, of course, and investing in the stock market can be extremely volatile from year to year. Dividends can feel very nice to receive each month, and I do find them motivating. I'm currently receiving an average of £1,431 a month after tax. But it's also important to look at what is happening to your capital. My ultimate aim, of course, is to generate decent dividends, which I will eventually use to pay my daily expenses while allowing my capital to grow as well. If starting a portfolio like I have interests you, then there is a really cost-effective platform you can use called Trading 212, and if you sign up using my link in the video description, you will actually receive a free fractional share worth up to £100 to start you off. And to see my dividend journey from 1 penny a day to £50 a day, then click this video here.